Hey, how's it going, guys? It's White Bread, and it's been a long time since we've gone this face to face, especially since been playing a lot of Dokusei. But today, as you guys can tell from the thumbnail, we got another movie review. And I guess this was gonna be an obvious one for my channel, since I did the Sonic one. If you guys haven't seen the previous one, I'll have that in the description. But pretty much how the series works is I watch the movies that I watched in the theaters and I review them. But because I'm recording this immediately after, I understand that there's some people that don't really know what the movie is about. So that's why I try to be as spoiler free as possible while giving out my explanation of if I like the movie or not. And you guys can use that as a way to, see if you guys would want to watch the movie. Anyways, yes, I would definitely say that this is Sam Raimi's greatest movie ever created. Now, if you guys don't know who Sam Raimi is, he's the director who's made movies such as the original Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire. He did a phenomenal job with that, and I think with this Doctor Strange movie, it definitely takes the cake. He's definitely how can I say this? He's done an outstanding job with this movie. You would be able to tell that this movie is perfect. This movie is perfect. Like if I were to give my 1 to 10 rating, it'd be a 10, because there's these parts in the movies where you would think wouldn't be in a Marvel movie. Sam Raimi definitely got the okay to do a lot of things with the movie. Like I don't know if IMDb listed it as a horror movie. When you look at the trailers and everything, you don't think of it as a horror movie, right? It's a superhero movie. It's about Doctor Strange saving the world, as always, as all superhero movies are, And by the title, Multiverse, it's going to go into the multiverse. You wouldn't necessarily think it's a horror movie, but the thing is that there are definitely a lot of aspects of this movie that give out a horror vibe to them. There's definitely a few scenes that are like that. I was honestly surprised by how much, I guess, horror there was. Another thing too that I'm genuinely surprised about, with the track record of how Disney likes their movies and shows and all that, especially with how much of a good guy of a goody two shoes Boba Fett is. There are a lot of moments in this movie where you would think, like, did Disney actually allow Sam Raimi to do this in the movie? And you'll see soon what I mean. There's a scene in this movie where there's fighting going on. You would be very surprised with how much Disney allowed in that particular scene. Not one scene, but it was more like multiple clumped up together. So I guess you could call it one scene. I think the Sam Raimi aspect of the movie was definitely the lighting of the film. There was a lot more red than blue. Because typically there's a lot more blue than red in Marvel movies, and if you guys don't understand what I mean by that, it's like it's an RGB sort of color type of thing, not the lights, not the light ups, but it's like you'll be able to recognize that a lot easier, and honestly, I think personally I feel like it fits. Especially since Sam Raimi is directing it. I don't know if you guys have seen the original Spider-Man movies. I think the reds are much more noticeable in Spider-Man 2. Not much Spider-Man 3 or 1, but 2 was definitely had a lot of reds. There's gonna be definitely quite a lot of superhero cameos that you might have expected or you might have not expected. There's gonna be a lot, and you guys will definitely be happy with the amount of superheroes that are there. Like, with how many superheroes that they're allowed to put into the movie all at once, this is definitely a lot. It's a lot of superhero cameos. They didn't really get much screen time, however, which I feel like they should have, but there's probably going to be a point in time where we're going to see movies on those superheroes anyways. The bad guy of the movies, I want to try and keep it spoiler free as possible, so I'm going to try my best with it. The bad guy definitely is very interesting, and like, you would actually care for this bad guy. I know there's not a lot of bad guys that you'd necessarily care for until like later on in the movie, but this bad guy, there would be moments where you'd cry because of how much it makes sense to them, but to the whole entire, it's just another one of those moments where I'm gonna destroy the world, but to a smaller scale, which I guess was good because it was left in the background. Usually movies tend to do a terrible job when making the world coming to an end as pretty much the foreground of the story. That's when movies tend to do a bad job with it. Shang-Chi is a good example. Later on in the film, once the dad died, the dragon came out and is like, oh, you're gonna destroy the world. It was terrible. Everything else with that movie was good. And then Eternals. I personally liked Eternals. I actually enjoyed the movie, but majority of people didn't like it, which made sense because I guess the world ending thing it just made no sense at that moment in time. The world ending isn't the main focus of the movie. It's really not. It's in the background, and this bad guy's motives is much more important to the movie. Obviously, the bad guy is the cause to all the problems. You'll definitely be emotional, and you'll definitely understand why Wanda is gonna be there. My only complaint, which I guess isn't necessarily a complaint, especially with how big Marvel is in their cinematic universe. It's a complaint, but it's only a complaint if you haven't seen the show, is that you need to be able to see the show in order to understand Wanda, especially since the Wanda show was definitely a major part for her story. But really, Doctor Strange just goes through his own little mental toughness, I guess you could say. And he tries to hide it, but it spills out. Oh yeah, another thing too is at the end of the movie, there's not just one end credit, there's two. So you're gonna want to see the second one. You're definitely gonna want to watch the ending. But yeah, really, from beginning to end, this movie was terrific. A phenomenal job of how they introduced the girl in the movie. Her name is America Chavez. That's her name. That's what she calls herself. If you haven't read the comics at all, which I'm assuming she's in the comics, you'll have no idea who she is, but you will be able to like pretty much halfway into the movie, or like beginning, like straight off the movie, you'll be able to understand that she is a key character in the movie. What do you call it? Sam Raimi definitely made it. He did a very fantastic job with it. And with the ending was good. It was all right. I didn't necessarily, I was like, cool, movie's over. I already know it's ending. It was a good ending, especially a way to sort of continue off the story of America Chavez and Doctor Strange, I guess you could say. This is the second movie review that I'm doing, so I feel like, not doing such a good job with it. I should probably write notes down. I should probably put some notes down on, and then list them off, because I feel like I was going off tangent, but unorganized. I feel like this was unorganized. Anyways, that's it for the review. I give it a 10 out of 10. Hope you guys are doing great. I know I am. And as always, peace. Adios.